Hello, and welcome to a minisode of My Streaming Bubble. You know, the podcast where I talk about the shows I love with the people I tolerate. I am your TV watching and talking host, Jen, and welcome back to another Last of Us minisode, mini bubble as I like to call them. Did I say mini bubble or did I say minisode at the beginning? Really easy way to find out, but I don't care enough. But back again for another shortened episode of this podcast covering the second season of The Last of Us. And this time we are discussing episode 4. So let's see. I don't really have much else to add to that. So I'll go ahead and get started. So episode 4 is called Day 1. Instantly, I was like, what the fuck does that mean? It felt so ominous. I didn't like it. And scary. But apparently it's just their first day in Seattle. And I don't think that's necessarily any better because how many days are they there? Why are we counting this off? Is it a long time? What the fuck is going on? It makes me very, very nervous and very excited. So in episode 4, so the synopsis for that is, per IMDb, in Seattle, Ellie and Dina find themselves amid a brutal battle between the zealous Seraphites and the ruthless militia. This is your official spoiler warning and some content warnings. So, gross, icky zombies, cults, torture, ruthless militia. So, previously on The Last of Us, so we slowed things down to mourn Joel and the others that were lost in the zombie attack on Jackson. And Ellie gave an impassioned speech that was like, I don't know, 53% bullshit. Dina showed that she is the brains of Operation Seattle. Gail likes baseball, weed, and booze. Seth is still around for some reason. And also my apologies for the mental gymnastics I did to try and rationalize the character and quote his redemption. It is what it is. So blah, blah, blah. Let's see. And there was a cult-like group with some scars that didn't make it to the end of the episode. So at first I was like, oh no, I'm no longer, oh no, about the little cult. Not so little, I guess, eh? And there are a fuck ton of wolves. So gearing up literally for Ellie and Dina for a road trip and some camping, apocalypse style. So that's pretty much a quick recap of the third episode, The Path. Maybe I could have just said that and saved a whole other 20 minutes, but I didn't because that's not my style. So I liked this episode. It was a nice mix of scary, intense, stressful, and character development and all of that kind of good stuff. And just kind of laying out the land of Seattle and what we're seeing and a glimpse of what Ellie and Dina are going to be dealing with. But I like that the episode starts off with a 5-year time jump to the past, showing Isaac Dixon, because you can't have a zombie apocalypse show without a Dixon. Am I right? And shows him kind of at the beginning working for Fedra. He's in an armored truck with a bunch of young militia a-hole types and talking about how they call them voters and they don't know why they call them voters. And so Isaac's like, well, it's because they lost the right to vote. And someone started calling them that to mock them. And I was like, oh no, is that what they're going to call us? Because I don't like it. But it was interesting to see where this character started and when we get that time jump to present day, kind of see where he is at and maybe what parts of him may have been lost in that 5 years. Because you kind of get the sense that he wasn't like those other dudes in the truck. And I got to say, the whole dialogue in the truck felt very straight from the game. It sounded like a conversation military bros would be having in a video game. It was just kind of ridiculous, but fitting, right? But Isaac especially at that time at the beginning, definitely was not, we didn't get the impression that he was like any of those guys, right? Because he kind of remembers the before times. But when we do the 5-year jump to present day, and show him like in a little kitchenette area talking about various cookwares, I was like, oh, this is so informational and good to know. I am not familiar with the various types of cookware. We only recently got like an all stainless steel cook set because before it was like the nonstick and the Teflon and yada yada. And we're just kind of getting all weirded out when those types of pans start to wear down and you get the little flakes and it's fucking gross. So we got the stainless steel and I absolutely love it. I feel like such a grown up using them. So all these things about like copper, and because we did look at copper cookware and I just, whatever reason, didn't go with that. But given some of the information I learned in this episode about copper cookware, about some of the different cookwares and cast iron and everything, I was like, oh, good to know. Maybe for next time. But he isn't just teaching like a cooking class or whatever. He's torturing one of the culty people. They were calling him Scar or just referring to the cult as Scars. And so initially I was like, oh my God, that is what they are called. Nope, it's Seraphites. And I was like, oh, I see. They're using Scar as like a slur or something. So that tracks. But yeah, so I'm kind of a little all over the place, just straight away at the gate at the beginning. But he does end up blowing up like that whole truck of military Fedra dudes, except for the one guy that kind of seemed like the greenhorn, kind of new and like went behind the ears. And Isaac pulled him, called him out of the truck and like gave him the chance. Like, do you want to be a dead asshole or do you want to be like team alive asshole? That was really cool. Was not expecting him to just throw some grenades in the truck and blow up a bunch of dudes and like shoot a dude and semi-rescue a dude. Because did he rescue that kid? Because when we get that time jump to present day, we see that he is just dead in the eyes. Like he has seen some shit. And now we've reached the point where Isaac and I guess like the wolves have kind of gone from maybe being the lesser of the evils to the evil, right? Because they were anti-Fedra because of the way Fedra was going and being run and all of that. And just truly like the behavior of those dudes in the truck was just appalling. So now that time has passed over the years and trying to bring down probably Fedra and now the Seraphites and who knows who else the wolves might be up against. But we see that time has kind of taken its toll on Isaac and he's like even more of like a hardened badass. And I gotta say, like Jeffrey Wright in this role, he was straight up creeping me out. I was so scared. He was very scary. So I love that he is in the second season. So far from the very little that we've gotten, I've been digging him already. So I just got to say, for the man to go from Westworld to Gotham to the multiverse to the zombie apocalypse, he can survive anything, I swear to God. But yeah, the torturing with the cookware, I mean, that was inventive. That's new. And it wasn't just like hitting the Seraphite in the face, who was all naked and tortured, just burning him. And then the fact that the Seraphite's just like, Isaac threatens to like burn him again. And the Seraphite holds his hand out, his other hand, just ready to take it. And then Isaac just pop, shoots him in the face or whatever. Because at that point, you're not going to get anything out of that cult member. If they're willing to sit there through all the torture, then yeah, you're not winning that one. I did think it was really interesting when the Seraphite was like, every day wolves leave you and come to us, but never does a Seraphite leave and become a wolf. And like, all right, that's that sounds all nice and good. And I'm sure that looks great on a pamphlet and everything. But like, would they be allowed to leave if they didn't want to be a Seraphite anymore? Because we see the damage that the Seraphites can do. They're not just some lonely wandering cult through the woods or whatever. They're heavily armed, they're very well organized, and they're able to gut and string up like 4 or 5 wolves, which was really fucking gross. But then when I was watching like the after show part, and they were talking about having all the stunt people up there and using as much of the practical effects as possible, that I absolutely love. I think that just kind of added to that level of like, when we saw the bodies and the guts. So I love it. I love that so much. Yay, practical effects. Let's see. Oh, and then while Isaac was torturing the Seraphite, the way they kind of kept going back and forth. You broke the truce. No, you broke the truce. No, you broke it. Just anytime, anywhere, there's like a back and forth like that. Not only does it seem and sound juvenile as fuck, it's very, very much duck season, wabbit season, duck season, wabbit season, wabbit season, duck season. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but that's what I picked up on. And it did make me chuckle, and which was kind of that nice little break in something fairly intense happening. So thank you for that. Okay, let's see. And I think that's pretty much all we get of Isaac and the Seraphites for the most part. It'll be interesting to continue to watch Jeffrey Wright as this character, to kind of see how much more Isaac has changed from that first glimpse of him that we got at the beginning of this episode. And I wonder if we're going to get any more like flashbacks with him. Probably not. I think maybe that was like kind of just enough to set up the character of, again, who he was and who he is. So maybe not. I don't know. But I'm sure more will be revealed. And then after the whole Isaac, Seraphite, torture scene and everything, like I said, I think that's pretty much it. Just did a quick review of my notes. I don't see anything else that I felt I had to jot down. So we're going to go back and we're going to join Dina and Ellie on their little apocalypse road trip to Seattle. And so they make it there. They pretty much spy the tower where the wolves are. It's like a big old, like broadcast tower. And Ellie's all set and ready to like charge in and just like fucking go for it. And Dina's like, hold on, slow your roll, pump the brakes. Let's not do this. Let's think about this. So once again, Dina proving that she is all sense and gumption, and Ellie being all gumption and no sense. Not to say Ellie doesn't have any sense, but let's be honest. She's so quick and ready to jump into action that she doesn't take that second to stop and think about why that's not a good idea. So thankfully she has Dina, and Dina can kind of be like, bitch, snap out of it. We're not doing that. So they hunker down in a place that seems fairly safe. It's like they get into like a music store and they rummage around some of the old instruments, and Ellie finds an acoustic guitar in a case. And I love that it was in a case. So then that way it was all nice and clean and not dirty and gross, and still tuned apparently. But then she has that moment where she's just playing Aha's Take on Me. And who else was singing along? Show of hands. Just kidding. I can't see that. But I was. And I especially like that it was all slowed down and it was more of like more ballady, I guess. It was so sweet. And then Dina comes up and she's getting serenaded and she's getting all misty eyed. And it was a very, very sweet moment for these characters. Very sweet. And then they bring up Joel and how he did teach Ellie to play the guitar, which I kind of forgot about from season 1. So I'm glad that they brought that back and gave a little reminder. And then plus in the after show, they show the clip of Joel and Ellie, and he's like, oh, I'll teach you how to play the guitar. And he did such a good job. I hope he knows what a good job he did. All right. So let's see. They were in the building that had the hanging. So what shit now? Fuck, I can't remember. But they encounter some wolves. They enter a building and they realize that they're starting to see some like dead bodies that belong to the wolves. And Ellie's like, no, these aren't the people that were at Jackson. Yeah, they from outside, they saw a place that they could shimmy up a drain pipe or whatever and get in through a broken window. And now they're in they must be in the broadcast tower, I think. But they're kind of going through. They're finding dead folks. Dina doesn't have the stomach for it, and she throws up again, which initially I was like, you know what? Good for you. Good for you for still having a sensitive stomach to all that murder and grossness. But we find out that isn't necessarily the case. But they're running into dead bodies. They see the wolves hanging and gutted, and they're just like, oh my God, it was the Seraphites. This is super fucking gross. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? What the fuck is wrong with Seattle? And I don't know. It's Seattle. I don't know. But then a group of the wolves come in, and they come in and they start cutting down the people that are hanging. And it's so tense because there's not a lot of places for Ellie and Dina to hide. They're just kind of hiding behind some crates and kind of shimmying, scooching around those as the wolves are going around and clearing the room and cutting the dead bodies down. But they end up encountering Dina and Ellie. Ellie and one of the other guys, they get into like a wrestling match, and she's like about to choke him out. And I was like, yeah, fucking do it, Ellie. And then somehow Dina was able to get out from whatever crates she was hiding behind and shoot a wolf that had come up to assist the other wolf that was getting choked out by Ellie. Then they shoot out a window and they go running away. And they shimmy down like I said it that time. But they scooch on down the fire escape, and they're running through Seattle. The wolves are chasing them. They know the city. They know the area. So it's not difficult for them to like catch up to the girls and chase them down. And the girls squeeze in through like a tight space, and they get to like a subway area tunnel, like an old abandoned one or whatever. I guess everything's like old and abandoned. Duh. And so they're kind of like trying to get their way, figure out how to get out of there. And then the wolves come, and then they're throwing flares all over the place so they can see. But then one of the flares that lands like under one of the train cars, it's got like the viney things, tentacle things. Oh, so fucking gross. And those start twitching. And then you can hear like the fucking zombies in the background getting closer and closer and closer. And while I appreciate Dina keeping track of how many there were, that was not helping. That made me more stressed out. So then the zombies come through, and the wolves are fighting them off. They're shooting at them, but there's just so many of them, and they're so fast and like relatively intelligent. And so now our girls are trying to escape these zombies as well, and they're working their way through like the train cars and everything. And I'm like, oh my God, zombies on a train never works out. Just ask Busan. Like, I don't like it. So of course I loved it. It was incredibly stressful. I was very, very tense. Dina kept making me really fucking nervous through like all of that. I don't know why. I think it was just like anytime she kind of paused and was just like in shock and like staring at what was going on. It's like, no, run, please, for the love of God, woman, fucking run. She made me so nervous. And then they're able to get out of like the train car and everything. And they get up to one of those, like, what are they called? Like, I don't know, like the fucking spinny gates that are, yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. You watched the episode. And as they're getting through, and it's like kind of rusted and stuck, and Dina gets trapped in the thing, and then the zombies come up, like, spoilers for The Walking Dead for a character death. Not a super duper main character, but he was a main character for a little bit. But I thought we were going to have another like Noah Glenn moment, which I truly believe is an underrated traumatic character death. Because not only did we have to see all of that, but the way it was done, and Glenn stuck in like the revolving glass door, and so he's got to watch Noah get tore apart, and we just see Noah's face just like happening. Like Glenn, I think I was more traumatized by Glenn being traumatized by it, although Noah's death was incredibly fucking traumatic. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's a nervous thing, I swear. It wasn't funny. Oh my God. But we didn't get that here. Luckily, Ellie, being immune, she instinctively stuck her arm out, took the bite, and now Dina's like, what the fuck? So clearly Dina didn't know about Ellie's superpower. But Ellie shows, they escape and they find like a nice big, I don't know, ballroom type area. I don't know where the fuck it was, where they're able to kind of have that moment, take a breath, have Dina freak out and point a gun at Ellie, having Ellie being like, whoa, I get it. I wouldn't believe any of this shit either, but trust me, I'm immune. I'm going to go take a nap, and if I turn, then you can shoot me, but I'm not going to turn. They do all of that. Thank God the zombies couldn't get there. Thank God those other wolf members are dead and no one else is looking for them because they had like all this time. So now Dina believes Ellie about being immune, but Dina has her own secret. Oh my God, she's pregnant. What? Congrats. Baby's in an apocalypse, man. Like, it's... That's a tough one. Right? Like, yeah, let's continue to like rebuild the human population and whatnot, but like... Also, there's these really fast, scary, icky things trying to kill us and rip us apart. And babies make a lot of noise, and you can't silence a baby. I mean, you can. Fuck, that got dark. That's not my fault. I just watched like the finale of MASH the other day, so you can blame MASH. So when I was watching the episode, after all the tense shit happen and Dina was making me nervous and everything, I actually had to pause the show, take a breath. I jotted a few things down. I've already mentioned them, so that's good for me. But it was very stressful, which is what I really liked about this episode. I like the actiony bits. I like the stressful bits. I like the weird creepy zombies and the weird viney tentacle things. Oh God, as much as they freak me out, like I can't even like ah. If you could see me reacting, I am just freaking out because it must, I don't know. Is it a phobia? I don't fucking know, but it's super gross. And I really, really don't fucking like it, which means I really fucking like it, but I really don't. Okay. You get it. All right. So yeah. So Dina's pregnant. Ellie's immune to zombies. So of course that's a reason to bang. So the girls get it on. We're happy for them. And then they have like a nice moment in the morning because again, they've got all this time because, you know, plot device and whatnot. I just thought it was kind of funny when they woke up and Ellie goes to try and like smooch on Dina and Dina's like, ew, morning breath. All I could think is like to complain about morning breath in a zombie apocalypse feels like some very privileged shit. Like, again, in The Walking Dead, I don't know if they even had fucking toilet paper, but that didn't stop them from banging. They weren't all like, oh no, we can't touch parts because like we stink. They didn't give a shit. They had like nothing. But I suppose they are in Jackson that has like a fuck ton of resources. So maybe toothbrushes and some toothpaste. I don't know. But but Dina popped a mint and then was good to go. So they still have Altoids, I guess. That's nice. So they have their moment. They share, you know, they talk about Dina, and we get a little bit more information about Dina and like her sexuality and how her mom was like, no, you like boys. You can't like both. And the way Dina internalized that and wasn't living her best life, wasn't living her full self. And now she's able to. And it sucks that it took an apocalypse for that to happen. But it was this whole kind of moment was really nice, but it was also making me very stressful because anytime two characters, especially if they're in love or like with each other, just nothing good can come of it. And now I'm worried like Dina's gonna fucking die. Like, yeah, she's pregnant, but I don't think this show's going to give a shit. So we'll see. But that explained all of Dina's barfing. Because she said that, she has seen plenty of dead bodies and gross stuff before and had never like threw up like that. So when she did that a couple of times, that to her was like a red flag, kind of like, ooh, this ain't right. But I love that while they were traveling through Seattle and stopped someplace, she found a bunch of home pregnancy tests and took them. And that's how she got confirmed that she was pregnant. And she's like showing Ellie. And when it comes to the pregnancy pee sticks in shows and movies, I appreciated here that they all still had lids to them, the little caps, because you can keep the cap for the part that you pee on, because fucking gross. Luckily, because then like otherwise they just hand the pee stick over to their partner or whomever and they're like, see, I'm pregnant. It's like, put the fucking lid back on it. That the whole end has just been exposed to pee-pee. That's disgusting. Wash your fucking hands. Oh my God. So thank you, Dina, for capping the pregnancy pee sticks before just shoving 5 of them into Ellie's hands to be like, see, told you, preggers. And then I love Ellie's reaction. She's very excited. We find out that it's also Jesse's baby, so we're very happy for the throuple. And Ellie's like, yeah, I'm gonna be a dad. And Dina's like, yeah, you're gonna be a great dad, or something like that. I love that excitement. I hope they all get to have that family moment of like even having a family. And then they hear some gunfire and whatnot. They take a look out through one of like the big busted wall windows and they see where they need to get going. But there's some shit going down. And that's pretty much where we end the episode. So Ellie is like, you don't have to go. You can stay here. Things are different. I understand. Blah, blah, blah. Dina's like, yeah, fuck that. I'm coming with you. So, and then, yeah. Cue black screen. Cue credits. Again, I really like this episode. It was that nice mix of tense, scary, and character growth, development, backstory, a little bit of everything. I really enjoyed that. It was enough to kind of give us some answers, but also maybe address some new questions and still keep us wanting more and being like, what the fuck is going to happen next? Because what the fuck is going to happen next? So we'll be hitting up day 2, I suppose. I don't know if that'll be the name of the episode. I kind of hope not, but I also kind of do. I don't know. What if it comes back and it's like day 6? Like, what the fuck happened for the last week? I don't like that. But we'll see. About every guess I have made with the show has been super wrong. I have no guesses as to what we'll get in episode 5, but I'm sure more wild shit will happen. I do kind of wonder if we're going to get back to Jackson and kind of see what's going on there, kind of like in the meantime, and see how maybe Tommy, Jesse, and Maria might react finding out that Dina and Ellie have left to go to Seattle. Because it's like, especially Tommy, he had to have known that was going to happen. So I am curious. I feel like this one's got to be right, that they'll go after them. That's going to happen, right? Because that's pretty standard. But that's the thing, is that's pretty standard. So that might not happen, but it's got to happen, right? I don't fucking know. Oh my God. So, but I would like to get back to Jackson. I would like to kind of find out what's going on there, how repairs and everything's going. If people are going to go, if Tommy and Jesse and Maria are going to go after Ellie and Dina, who else might join them? Please don't let it be Seth. And if it is, please let him fucking redshirt that shit so we can just be done with that. I don't know why he bothers me so much. I've got to let it go. But we could definitely use some more Gale. I would say let's not send Gale on a rescue mission. Let's leave her there in Jackson. She's too high and drunk to be of use. But yeah, like, just how many days are they going to be in Seattle? Are they going to end up being like captured or something? They're going to run into Isaac, right? And oh my God, what the fuck is going to happen there? God damn. We shall see. So we'll just all have to tune in next week to find out how right or wrong, likely wrong, I am about episode 5. So yeah, that's it. That's all I've got. I didn't get a chance to do a whole lot of like post-watch Googling for show and game comparisons. Just a little bit that I learned from the after show thing after the show. Jesus Christ. Like the making of stuff, like the behind the scenes that plays after the episode. Yeah, so I only know just based on what they told us there, what was from the game and what was incorporated into the TV show, and the moment in the music store with the guitar and Take On Me, that I guess was all from the game. So that's super sweet. I'm sure a lot of other stuff. And I'm 1000% sure I will never play this fucking game because it would stress me out too much. It's hard to play games when you keep dropping the controller because you get scared. When I was playing The Witcher and I first ran into like the big spider things, first of all, my character Geralt was not strong enough to take down those monsters. And I really, really, really fucking hate spiders. And I'm pretty afraid of them, like to an irrational point, which then makes it funny, but also kind of not because I don't like it. But the way I just was screaming and trying my damnedest to run away from those fucking things as they're shooting their stupid webs at me. And I have to thank Monty Python and the Holy Grail for always instilling in me, run away, anytime something happens and I need to run away. So I was screaming that the first time I was playing it. My family thought I lost my mind and they thought it was really damn funny. So all of that to say that I will likely never play this game because I can't handle that kind of shit. Too stressful. And I've gotten worse over the years with being super jumpy at shit. So it's been a fun show to watch, I think. All right. Well, that is going to do it for me today. So, as usual, let me know what you thought of today's episode, or if you have suggestions for future episodes, or you want to be tolerated, you can send all of that to mystreamingbubble@gmail.com. And make sure you're following this podcast on the socials. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. And clearly you can listen on a podcast player near you, like probably the one like that's right next to you. But also don't forget to like, share, review this podcast on your preferred podcast player. And then once you're done doing all of that, make sure you hop on over and listen to Twin It to Win It. And that is the monthly podcast that I co-host with Aaron from It's a Fandom Thing. And we test our twinningness by guessing how the other feels about different horror movies. We are also on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Just got to search Twin It to Win It. And we'll just pop right up there for you. And then, of course, obviously, as per usual, I'm burpy. Excuse me. Listen, rate, review, and share Twin It to Win It from most podcast players. So, all right. That's it. Short and sweet, to the point-ish. Not a lot of tangents, although now I won't shut the fuck up now that I've gotten to the ending. So I will go ahead and do that. Thank you all for listening. And keep streaming. Bye. If you're enjoying the podcast, here are a few ways to show your continued support. Like rating and reviewing on a podcast player near you, and sharing your favorite episodes with your friends, family, and mail carrier. If you're looking for merch, then stop by my Redbubble store where you can find and buy My Streaming Bubble stickers, hats, shirts, and more. You can also find me over at buymeacoffee.com and, well, buy me a coffee. Thank you for your continued support, and keep streaming. Bye!